He was active, and you can bet when he arrived from the airport, he was right back at the performance center in that gym and hurling weights quickly. In Poplar Bluff, Springfield, and Cape Girardeau, the Outlaws get wins over the Rhodes Scholars. As you mentioned, they had been broken up on TV. So at that point, if they've broken up on TV, why does the card not get rearranged on the live events? And why are you still wrestling them as a team? Does that get confusing for them as talent trying to create something and get themselves over?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it does, on a personal level, like, they want something to sink their teeth into, and now you broke them up, and they were like, "Oh, that's what we were gonna do," and then you put them back together the next week on a live event, but, the live events are made up a way in advance, and they're booked way out in advance, so you wanna try to change them as little as possible, and also, I don't think using them one more time on a live event loop and using us and getting over, it's not like the main event of the show. You know what I mean? So you didn't change, a title match or anything. It was just a underneath card entertaining match that had some, entertaining stuff in it. And like I said, it was card subject to change. Sometimes that happens, but yeah, I would imagine creatively it would get frustrating being done that way. But look, you get done that way once or twice. You don't get done that way all the time.
I'll just keep pushing, poking, irritating, and building your frustration towards me as I ask these kinds of questions. The lack of continuity with TV storylines hurt the live event business.
So I don't think it hurt the live event business. I think America, where it's at, domestically speaking, and we're going to get to overseas, I would imagine, here in a little while. But domestically speaking, like, people don't go out as much, especially lately. You know what I mean? They stopped to cut. So this live event business is hard. But to your question, I don't think it really bothers people that much, because I think a lot of people that show up in these towns don't watch, you know, 6 or 7 hours of WWE wrestling every week.
Right.
They just know the circus is coming to town, and I'm going to take my kids to see it. And in some of these cities that we go to, they don't have, circus don't happen no more. That ain't no. Then Wriggling Brothers is done. And
It
so
is.
so WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, all these guys that travel and do live events, like, they're out there trying to create a business, but it's hard. Like I said, nobody, you talk about 10,000 people in the arena like that. I don't know if that still happens. I hadn't been out there in a while. So it was just a different time.
So I don't generally quote the Observer too much, but I'm curious on this one from the April 29th, 2013 Observer. SmackDown opened in Glasgow. Main event saw Sheamus and Billy Gunn and Road Dogg beat the Shield via DQ. Really telling not only that the Outlaws, who weren't even main eventers very often in their primes, and a dozen years after come back and headline now. The finish saw a DQ when they triple teamed Sheamus. They were about to give Sheamus the triple team powerbomb when the Outlaws jumped into the ring with chairs. Gunn gave Rollins a famouser, Sheamus gave him a brogue kick, and the Shield left. Are you surprised you're in the main event, or do you take what Meltzer is saying as an insult to the crew at the time?
No, I think it was more to his take has been, and I don't know if me and him ever had a run in or if what, but his take has always seemed to be negative towards us a little bit. And look, maybe it is because we were old guys coming back and working with new guys and beating them and stuff, and maybe he's not happy about that, and that's okay. Opinions, they're like a-holes. Everybody's got them, and they all stink. But he just everything you read out of the Observer just seems to have a negative slant, and so it seems like it's somebody in there don't like me and Billy, or they don't like the fact that we're on there stealing spotlight where younger guys should. And that's a valid point. You know what I mean? If that's your point. But yeah, it just feels like they're always burying us. Because we were main eventers. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like, uh, it was kind of dumbfounded me when I read that in the notes that he said like they were more than main eventers back then. Like, okay, okay, Uncle Dave.